So today I've got the Chronicles of Narnia by c.s.Lewis, and it's not that I haven't read it, but I thought I'd read it for my YouTube channel today. And I'll do it in an extreme Japanese accent. You see those kanji over there? One of them says, I want to be loved, the other one I forget, but the point is, I'll be doing this in an extreme Japanese accent today. Keep in mind, this video is supposed to be offensive today. No face cam, because my blacklight is not working, and that's why I've been streaming without it. But yeah, I won't use a face cam today. That way you get the full immersion. You can just sit there and listen. If you want me to read this in my normal voice, just ask for it in the comments. If you want me to read it as just ask for it in the comments below. But yeah, here I go. The Chronicles of Narnia by c.s.Lewis. Chapter 1. The Wrong Door. This is a story about something that happened long ago, when your grandfather was a child. It was a very important story because it shows how all the communication going between our world and the land of Narnia first began. In those days, Mrs. Sherlock Holmes was still living in Baker Street, and the Bastables was looking for treasure, and Lewis hand robbed. In those days, if you were a boy, you had to wear stiff eton collar every day, and schools were usually nastier than now. But meals were nicer. As for them sweets, I won't tell you how cheap and rude we were, because it will only make your mouth water in vain. And in those days, there lived in London a girl called Plummy Palmer. She lived in one of those long row houses in which were all joined together. One morning, she was out in the backyard when a boy scrambled up from the garden next door and put his face over the law. Polly was very surprised, because up till now there had never been any children in that house, but only Mr. Kittley and Mrs. Kittley, a brother and sister, old bachelor and old maid, living together. So she looked up, full of curiosity. The face of the strange boy was very grubby. It could have been grubbier if he had rubbed his hands in the dirt, and then had a good cry, and then dried his face with his hands. As a matter of fact, this was very nearly as he'd been doing. "Hello," said the boy. "Hello," said the boy. "What is your name?" "Polly," said Polly. "What's yours?" "Desiree," said the boy. "Today," I say. "What a funny name," said Polly. "It isn't half so funny as Polly," said Desiree. "Yes, it is," said Polly. "No, it isn't," said Desiree. "At any rate, I do wish my face," said Polly. "Which is what you need to do, especially after and when she stopped. She had been going to say, after you've been blubbing, but she thought that it wouldn't be polite. "Alright, I have then," said Desiree, in a much louder voice. Like a boy, he was so miserable that he didn't care who knew. He had been crying. "And so will you," he went on, "if you lived all your life in the country. And you're a pony. and the river at the bottom of the garden, and then had been brought to life in a beastly hole like this. London isn't a hole, said Polly indignantly. The boy was too up to take any notice of her, and went on. And if your father was away in India, and you had to come living with an aunt and an uncle who's mad, would you like that? And if the reason was that they were looking after your mother, and if your mother was ill, and was going to die, then his face went the wrong zip. The wrong sort of shape, as if it doesn't, if you're trying to keep back your tears. I don't know. I'm sorry, said Polly humbly. And then, because she hardly knew what to say, and also to turn to Disraeli's mind, to cheerful the subject, she asked, "Is Mr. Kittery really mad?" "Well, he's mad," said Disraeli. "Or there's some other mystery. He has a study on the top floor, and Aunt Lady says I must never go up there." "Well, that looks fishy to begin with. And there's another thing. Whenever he tries to say anything to me at meal times, he never even tries to talk to her. She always shuts up. She says, 'Don't worry, boy. I'm through Diggory. Doesn't want to hear about that or else. Now, Diggory, wouldn't you like to go out and play in the garden?' What sort of things does he try to say? I don't know. He never gets far enough. But there's more than that. One night, it was late at night, in fact, as I was going to pass the foot of the attic stairs on my way to the bed, and I don't care for much going past them either. I'm sure I heard a yell. Perhaps he keeps a mad wife shut up there. Yes, I've thought of that. Or perhaps he's a coroner. Or he might have been a pirate, like the man at the beginning of the Treasure Island, and been always hiding in their old ship names. How exciting! Said Bloody. I never knew he was so interesting. You might think it's interesting. Say, did you? But you wouldn't like it if you had to sleep there. How would you like to lie awake? Listen for Uncle Andrew's step come creeping along in your passage to your room, and he's had such awful eyes. That was how Polly and Triggery got to know one another, and that was how, just the beginning of the summer holidays, neither one of them knew what was going to the sea that year. They met nearly every day. Their adventures began chiefly because it was one of the wettest and coldest summers there had been for years. That drove them into the indoor things, you might say, indoor exploration. It was wonderful how much exploring you could do with the stump of a candle in your big house, or in a row of houses. Probably I discovered long ago. If you opened a certain little door in the box out room attic of a house, you would find a cistern and a door in the room box attic of a house, and a dark place behind it, which could get you into by a little careful climbing. The dark place was a long tunnel, with a brick wall on one side and a little sloping on the roof on the other. In the roof there were little chunks of light between the slates. There was no floor in this tunnel. You had to step up from the rafter to rafter. Between them there was only plaster, If you stepped on this, you would have to find yourself falling through the ceiling of the room below. Polly had used to build the tunnel besides the cistern as a smuggler's cave. She had brought up bits of old packing cases and a sleeves of broken chicken tails and fingers of the sort, and split them across the rafter to make a bit of a floor. Here she kept a cash box containing various treasures and a story. She was writing and usually a few apples. She was often drunk, quite a bottle of ginger beer in there. The old bottles made it look like the smuggler's cave. Do you agree? Quite like the cave. She wouldn't let him see the story, but he was more interested in exploring. Look here, he said. How long does this tunnel go on for? I mean, does it stop in front of the houses? No, said Billy. The walls don't go out of the roof. It goes on. I don't know how far. Then how can we get to the row of houses? So we could, said Billy. And oh, I say. What? We could get into all the houses. Yes. And get taken up as burglars. No thanks. Don't be so jolly clever. I'm thinking of the house next to yours. With a bird. Why is there anyone? Dad says it's always been empty since we came up here. I suppose we ought to have a look then, said Diggory. He was a good deal more excited than you. I've thought from the way he spoke. For of course he was thinking, just as you have been, of all the reasons why the house might have been so empty so long. So was Billy. Neither one of them said the word haunted. Both of them feel that once the thing had been suggested that would be feeble not to do it. Shall we go into it now? Said Diggory. Alright, says Billy. Don't if you'd rather not, Diggory. I'm going with you all, says he. How far are we to? No, we're in the next house, but no. They decided they would have to go out into the box room and walk across the attacking steps. As long as the steps from another room, rafter from the next. That would give them an idea of how many the rafters went to the room. Then they would allow for 4 more. The passage between the two attics in Pearlie's house. Then the same number for the maid's house as for the ballroom. That would give them the length of the house. When they have done that, the distance twice, that would be the end of Diggory's house. Any door they came to after that would lead them into the attic of an empty house. But I don't expect it to be at all, said Diggory. What do you expect? I expect someone lives there in secret. Only coming in and out at night with a dark lantern. We shall probably discover a gang of desperate criminals and get aboard. It's all a rot to say. A house will be empty and all those years, unless there was some mystery. Daddy thought it might be dreams. Simply. Pooh! Good on to Lewis. Thinking of an interesting explanation, said Gregory. Now that they were talking by daylight, neither can save the candlelight. In the smuggler's cave, it seemed much less likely that the empty house would be haunted. When they had mentioned the attic, they had gotten a pencil and to do a sum. They got different answers to what it was at first. And even when they agreed, I'm not saying we got it right. They were in a hurry to start on the exploration. We must sing a song, said Polly, as they climbed in again behind the cistern. Because it was much more of an important occasion. They took a candle. Polly had a good store of them in the cave. It was very dark and dusty and druddy, and they stepped away from right after without a rush, without a word or a when they whispered to one another. Where is it you are now? This must be a halfway through our house. And neither one of them stumbled, and the kangaroos didn't go out. And at last, they came to one they could see the little door big. Well, another story. There was no bolt, no handle, no dark side of it. Of course, for the door, with a man aiming for getting in, not getting out. But there was a catch. As there often is on the other side of a cupboard door, which they felt sure they would be able to return. Shall I? Said Gregory. If you're game, said Polly, just as she had said before. Both felt that it was becoming very serious, but there was a drawback. Gregory pushed the door on no catch with some difficulty. The door swung open, and the sudden daylight came in a blink. When he really saw, they saw the room that they were looking in, not into a deserted attic, but into a furnished room. But it seemed empty enough. It was still something. Polly's curiosity got the better of her. She blew out the candle and stepped into the turned room, making no more noise than a mouse. It was shaped, of course, like an attic, but furnished in a sitting room. Every bit of the walls was lined with the shelves, and every bit of the shelves was with books. The fire was burning and thick. You'll remember that it was very cold wet summer this year. In front of the fireplace, with a back towards them, was a high-backed armchair. Between the chair and Polly, and filling most of the middle of the room, was a pig piled with all sorts of things, printed books, and books of the sort you write in, and ink bottles, and pens, and sealing wax and a microscope. But what she noticed first was a bright wooden tray with a number of rings on it. They were in pairs, a yellow one, a green one, a little space, and then a yellow one, a green one. They were no bigger than ordinary rings, and no one could help notice them because they were so bright. They were so beautiful, stunning things that you can imagine. He played, had a little imagine. She would have wanted one in her mouth. The room was so quiet that he noticed the ticking of the clock at once, and yet she was never found. It was obviously not quiet either. There was a faint, very faint humming sound. If Hoovers had been invited those days, Polly would have thought it was the sound of a hoover being worked a long way off. Several rooms and several floors below. But it was nicer in the sun there. A more musical tone. Only so faint that you could hardly hear it. He's sorry. There's nobody here, said Polly, over her shoulder to Jiggery. She was speaking at a whisper below, and Jiggery came out, blinking, and looking extremely dirty, as indeed Polly was too. It's no good, he said. It's not in the house at all. We'd better bunk before anyone comes. Where do you think those are? Said Polly, pointing at the coloured wings. They'll come in, said Jiggery. The sooner. He never finished what he was going to say for that moment. Something happened. The high back chairs in the front of the fire removed. Suddenly, another room rose up out of it. Let me take a breath. I'm thirsty. Like a pantomime demon coming out of the trap door. The alarm of Uncle Drew. They were not in the empty house at all. They were in Jiggery's house, and in the forbidden study. Walter said, "Oh, oh, oh!" And realized that they were a mistake. They felt they ought to have known all along that they hadn't gone nearly far enough. Uncle Andrew was tall and thin. He had long skin and shape, with a soft green nose and extremely bright eyes. And a great disheveled mop of grey hair. Jiggery was quite spirited, for Uncle Andrew looked 1,000 times more alarmed than he had ever been before. Polly was not so confident yet, but soon she was. For the very first thing Uncle Andrew knew was to walk across the door to the room, shut it, and turn the keys in the lock. Then he turned around, fixed the children in his brothers, smiled, showing all his teeth. There, he said. Now my fool of a sister can't get you. It was dreadfully unlike anything a grown-up would have expected to do. Polly's heart came out of her mouth, and she was Jiggery started backing towards the little door that they had come in by. Uncle Andrew was too quick for them. He got behind them and shut the door, and stood in front of it. He rubbed his hands and it made his knuckles crack. He had very long, white fingers. "I'm delighted to see you," he said. "Two children are just what I wanted. Please, Mr. Craig," said Polly. "It's nearly dinner time, Hannah. Got to go home. Will you please let us out, please?" "Not just yet," said Uncle Andrew. "This is too good of an opportunity to miss. I wanted two children. You see, I'm in the middle of a great experiment. I've tried it on a guinea pig, and it seemed to work. But then a guinea pig can't tell you anything. And if you can't explain it, how to come back?" "Look here, Uncle Andrew," said Jiggery. "It really is dinner time, and they'll be looking for us in a moment. You must let us out." "Must?" said Uncle Andrew. Jiggery and Polly glanced at one another. They did not say anything. The glances, "Isn't it dreadful? We must humor him." "You let us go for dinner now," said Polly. "We will come back and find dinner." "Oh, but how do I know that you would?" said Uncle Andrew, with a cutting smile. Then he seemed to change his mind. Wait a minute, he said. If you really must go, I suppose you must. I can't expect two youngsters like you to find much fun in talking to an old buffer like me. He sighed and went on. You have no idea how lonely sometimes I am. But no man, go to the theater. But I must give you a present before you go. It's not every day that I see a little girl in a dingy little city, especially not if I must say so. Such a search can lead to herself. But I began to think he might not really be mad at all. Would you like a ring, my dear? Said that Uncle Andrew to Polly. Do you mean like one of those yellow or green ones? How lovely! No! Not a green one! Said Uncle Andrew. I'm afraid I can't give the green ones away. But I'd be liar to give you any of the other ones with my love. Come and try one on. Polly had now quite got over the foot and felt sure that the old gentleman was not mad. And there certainly something strangely attractive about those bright rings. She went over to the tray. Why? I declare, she said. That humming noise gets louder here. It's almost as if the rings were making it. What a fancy, my dear. Said Uncle Andrew with a laugh. It sounded enormous, very natural laugh, but Gregory had seen an eager, almost a greedy look on his face. Polly, don't move! He shouted. Don't touch him! It was too late. Exactly as she spoke, Polly's hand went over to touch one of the rings. Immediately, without a flash of noise, or warning of any sort, there was no Polly. Dewey and his uncle were alone in the room. That is the end of chapter 1. Subscribe for more. I hope you liked it. That's my attempt at a Japanese accent. It's probably not accurate, but hey, a lot of people find that very funny. Actually, I probably shouldn't be saying that. Next time I'll read chapter 2. Alright, bye-bye.